Hi everyone, Nicole Smith with our second learning teaching activity. And there was a lot of things that I really liked with the chapters we read. From chapter 4, I generally liked how correlation there were between teaching in family life education and teaching in the gospel. About asking questions, asking for experiences, giving experiences, narrowing a section down to one idea. There's just so much correlation. I really thought that was kind of cool. One part it mentioned about lectures, that no one likes to be lectured at, and makes me think of the times that I've been lectured at in either classes at school or times at church, and how important it is not to lecture at our class participants, because it's not very fun. I also really liked Merrill's principles. Life education really applies to real problems. It helps people to activate knowledge that they already know, such as the importance of being a good nurturing parent, but then later demonstrating new skills to teach them and teaching them how to apply new knowledge into their lives and making it really a thing that they can do for themselves. I think that's really cool because it's rather just giving information, it's teaching new skills to them. I really like the reflective question about whether the Holy Ghost, family life education, and I believe it does. We are teaching children of God how to become better parents, or have better relationships in their family, which is a very important part of the gospel in general, because the family is just so important. So I think the Holy Ghost plays a huge role in helping us to teach them. 5, I liked where it talks about adult learners, because it's very different to teach children where they expect you to just know everything. But adults, they already come with ideas and opinions, so it's important to let them give their ideas and opinions and really give themselves to help with the discussion. I also liked on page 57 how we have to focus not only on how to improve family lifestyles, but how to keep using their strengths. Very different strengths, and it's important to remind them and let them know that they need to keep using those strengths while learning kind of weaker areas. I also was kind of wondering how to help people with, as it discussed on page 101, because in this ward I'm in right now, there's a huge focus on self-reliance. We love to give help, but we don't like receiving help. So it makes me wonder how to help people to find that humility where they can say, oh, this could be good for me. I want to receive this help. And let me know, because it's definitely something that I've wondered a lot about. I liked was drawing the best out of participants, because right now my husband and I are teaching a class, and it's so each participant is so different. Some will give information, some will be reserved. So respect and empathy toward all of them, no matter what they're feeling or what they say. And I loved the different ways it helps to correlate information that maybe you don't agree with into a more positive light. With chapter 6 and the teaching strategies, there's a couple I really enjoyed, such as the fishbowl idea. I've never heard of it before, where they have 2 circles. All get to talk for 10 minutes without interruption from the people on the outside. And I thought that was really cool because it really helps to help them listen, because we get so occupied in our own perspective of something that we don't take the time to listen and understand the other person's perspective. Like my husband and I had this disagreement, and I was so wrapped up in my idea that I didn't take the time to understand why he was feeling the way he was feeling. So I thought it was really cool. Also like the family council meeting idea, because it's emphasized in the LDS culture, but not in the rest, but it can really help other people throughout the world. I also liked role playing, because I think role playing is really cool, but sometimes it's really hard to help other people get into role playing, because it can be really intimidating. So I think one way to help with that is, rather than have it do role play a few people in front of 30 people, just have it break it into sections. But if you have other ideas on how to help people to participate in role playing, let me know. They're important. I also also liked in the CES manuals how it says lectures can be good because Christ even lectured his disciples, but they always have to have a certain point to them rather than just blabbing on. Chapter 7, very briefly, I really liked the idea of learning a culture before you teach them, because it helps them to feel loved and appreciated, and you don't offend them as easily. Also, to mix up teaching styles because everyone learns differently, so it also mixes up your routine. I liked the skill dialogue idea because how much effort that we have to give as family life educators to people. We can't just expect to give like a doctor's prescription for you. Rather, we have to understand where they're coming from first. We have to be able to let them know that we want to help, but we need information first. And last thing, I really liked page 132 about why it's important to learn ourselves, because that's something I was like, why do we need it? Why is that important? But it is so that we can, our limitations and boundaries. And the chapter I decided to read this week was chapter 8, about how to help yourself before to help other people. So based well-being and the difference between well-being and self-esteem. And I thought that was interesting, and I wanted to read that because it's not so related to family life education, because we usually think of relationships when working with families, but not so much about how to help ourselves. And a couple of thoughts with that was using our strengths in order to have a more satisfying life, remembering that we have strengths and to use them constantly so that we're not so down in the dumps. To serve others, to feel good and watch people doing good helps us to feel better and have a more satisfying life. And savoring the past. This is a point where it says we remember things, even the hard times, as something a positive thing rather than a negative thing. And that reminded me of a principle that I learned from Gottman's book, 7 Principles of Marriage, because the couples that look throughout their entire relationship negatively usually can't, in the end, and avoid a divorce. Rather, past really well but are having troubles now are more able to overcome their trials now. And I thought that was really cool. And overall, I like the chapter because it reminds the teachings with that we have to remember to help ourselves before we help other people, and that we can, it's important to take care of ourselves, to remember that we have strengths and talents, just like how Elder Allen's talk kind of gave during General Conference. So I just really enjoyed all these chapters, and I hope I'm waiting, I can't wait for your comments, for your ideas and opinions. So thank you for your time.